thank goodness, next came the match we've all been waiting for, MJF and Cody. And thank goodness, because I was losing my patience a little bit again. MJF is a star from the time he walks out, his facials, his attitude, we know that, but what the fuck is on poor Cody's neck? Oh, I remember when Brock Lesnar got that fucking tattoo of that awful goddamn thing. Was it the thing on his back or the thing on his chest he got first? It was either a dagger on his chest or some goddamn Harley Davidson bullshit on his back. And didn't tell him. He was here in OVW, didn't tell anybody. And they saw it after the fact, obviously, and oh my God, we got memos, and that's where they put in the rule, no talent is to get a tattoo unless approved by the office, because they're trying to sell the All-American boy NCAA champion from the University of Minnesota, and he looks like a goddamn fucking Hell's Angel with short hair. But the product placement is suspect on that tattoo, don't you think?
I have a lot of thoughts about it. I think it's the biggest mistake of Cody Rhodes' life. I think we could also call it Exhibit A in his upcoming divorce proceedings. I think his father had a splotch and now he has a splotch.
Oh my God.
I think he has a neck tattoo on his chest and a chest tattoo on his neck. I think whoever are his friends that didn't talk him out of that aren't really his friends. I think it's just a colossal mistake. They're about to put on an action figure. Doesn't have that stupid tattoo. He's an executive vice president who wears a suit and represents the company. And now he has, I've heard a lot of people say it looks like a bad prison tattoo. Just even if you wanted one there, the size of it, it took me out of the match in a lot of ways.
And the color of it, the brightness of it all.
You know what? It's just, it makes me question any decision Cody Rhodes makes in the future. What a bad decision. Just what a stupid move. And I heard his wife did an interview where she said she wasn't happy about it. I'd like to know what Tony Khan thought about it. All of a sudden, his executive vice president shows up with a prison tattoo. I don't know what the hell Cody Rhodes was thinking. What a horrible, horrible idea that somehow went from his brain to fruition. I don't understand.
You know that big red spot that Dusty had on his side, right?
Yeah.
So in Mid-South, right? It was was it the August? I think it was the August Superdome show.
In 84, yeah.
In 84. We get the word about 5 weeks out because we, advertised the big dome shows, way out. We're going to get to work in the Superdome in New Orleans in one of the feature matches with Dusty Rhodes and Junkyard Dog. And I'm like, oh my God, the fucking place is good. They're going to blow. This is going to be, we're going to start a riot. The reaction's going to be incredible. Plus, to that time, I had never met Dusty Rhodes in person. I'd seen him work live before I got into business, but I'd never met him. And so I'm like, we get to work with, and this was when Dusty was one of the three, it was Dusty, Flair, and Andre, right? One of the three biggest names in the business. So, and I'm doing all the promos, and I'm really geared up for this. Of course, as we later found out, that's when Dog left, and it became Dusty Rhodes and Sonny King, and the heat level when Dusty was in the ring in New Orleans was off the charts. When Sonny King tagged in, it cooled quite considerably. I've never been so disappointed. But anyway, one of the promos I did leading up to that was, let me tell you something, Dusty Rhodes, you're coming in here to Mid-South. This is our backyard. You may be a big star in the rest of the territory, or the rest of the world, but you know what you are to us? You're just a big fat guy. You know what that red spot is, Jim Ross? That red spot on his side? That's where he had the word Goodyear sanded off of him. And then somebody afterwards said, hey, you know Dusty? I said, no, I've never met him. They said, you better hope he don't hear that promo. And then that at the Dome that night, that's where inadvertently I first got over with him because they had done the deal. They'd taken my tennis racket away. It was a fine to carry the tennis racket, and Duggan's two before they'd fined because Watts figured the Mid-South had to do something about the foreign objects, right? So I get around it for the Superdome by wearing a tuxedo, and I've got a cane. And I go to the finish is I'm going to roll in the ring while Dusty's going wild and the referee's distracted, and I'm going to swing the cane at him. He's going to duck and hit me with the bionic elbow. And, of course, the locker rooms were separate. We still never met, right? We worked with him. I've never met him. And I told the referee, I think it was Carl Fergie, I said, please go over and tell Dusty that I'm going to swing at his head, so please duck, because I don't want to, I'm thinking that I'm working Dusty Rhodes, and we knew he was the booker in the Carolinas, right? So we're trying to get over with Dusty. And Fergie says, I'll tell him. And some bitch, when months later, when I actually did end up speaking to Dusty Rhodes on the phone for the first time, because he had wanted us to come to the Carolinas, he says, so you're the kid that was going to knock out the American Dream in the Superdome, eh? He loved that shit because and the way that the boys bumped for him, and then Flair had been coming in seeing the matches with the Rock and Roll and pitching us to Jimmy Crockett. So we were made off of that. That's when they started wanting us in the Carolinas. But I don't know that he ever did hear about I didn't bring the promo about having Goodyear sanded off of him up to him ever. I don't know if he heard that one.
Well, you haven't given your thought. What did you think of the tattoo?
Well, no, that's why I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. For all the things you just said, I couldn't have said it better myself. At least he's still having good matches. I was so overwhelmed by that. It took me a second, but the band doing Cody's entrance was a nice touch. Made him look bigger. He did have a lot of backup with his whole team coming out, but here's the thing again. I don't know why Brandy's at ringside if this situation is so dangerous. MJF has been a thorn in his side and stabbed him in the back. Wardlow, this giant monster who almost killed him in the cage. I can understand Arn being there. I don't know why Brandy comes to ringside except to get on television.
That's the one complaint I have about Cody matches, and I was thinking about it during this match. There's always smoke and mirrors. What I mean is there's always shit at ringside. There's always either Brandy and now Arn. There's always stuff happening that probably doesn't need to happen to make the match great. And in this match, it kind of, I thought, unnecessary is what I thought.
Well, it was a little cluttered. It was a little after the entrance. Most of the people went back. But anyway, they knew what they were doing with this because the girls' match had kind of settled everybody down, but they didn't start out too hot because then it would have looked like every other match. Every other match so far had jump-started and just started at 100 miles an hour. So they ring the bell, and MJF keeps taking a powder. And he knocked the fucking fat guy's hat off, and he tossed the beer on the other one. He's fucking great. What Cody did, MJF sold everything perfectly because he took the heel getting his ass kicked bumps rather than the bumps they teach you in wrestling school. Did you see the difference? He bumps differently and with personality for each move that Cody does instead of just everything looking the same. They did different shit in this match than in all the other matches. Different moves, different pace. MJF took fewer bumps in this thing and meant more than anybody else's on the show. He got pops equivalent to the fucking table crash for just getting his fucking ass handed to him in a normal way. Cody's dive onto Wardlow got a huge fucking pop. When he tried to prevent Wardlow from, and that's another, Brandy has to do the crossbody, and at least they're not having Wardlow sell, but still. She throws the beer on him, and then Arn backs him up, and then she crossbodies him, and he catches her, blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't crazy about all that. Still, nevertheless, I like the fact that they took their time, and they had a pace with this, and they worked holes, and they told a story. And Cody had been slightly selling the toe from the start of the match. And with the toe being broken in the cage match, the news was already out. So then finally, when fucking MJF gets advantage and takes his fucking boot off and bites the toe, he's biting the fucking guy's toe. And the people are reacting like he's fucking taking a chainsaw to him. Because they were into it. And they understood what was going on. I missed how MJF got his juice. He got good juice, but how did it happen? I know how it happened, but how did it nominally happen?
They never showed it or explained it. I thought the same thing. I was like, what caused the juice? By the way, I also thought, is it real juice?
Oh, it looked pretty good. I think you would have a hard time, keeping I hate to say the word fake blood, but I'll say it, fake blood on your head for that long for the rest of the match. But also because it didn't stain and discolor him even after being wiped off like that fake shit usually does. But I thought that just because he probably, I'm not trying to knock MJF here, but he's probably not an experienced swordsman and figured somebody's going to see me unless I just go down and do it under the ring. Because I did that a couple of times, first couple of times, because I was always freaked out about that. But you don't think it was a gimmick, do you? I thought it looked pretty good. I've never seen gimmick blood look that good.
I don't know. Like I say, it just popped up with the blood. That was kind of...
Well, that was my explanation for it, was we'll go down and maybe they won't fucking realize, but I'm going to go underneath and do it so I don't have eyes on me while but you can create other distractions, which they were anyway with Cody and the other stuff. But anyway, the vertical suplex over the top rope to the floor, the Dynamite Kid Tiger Mask spot, that was fucking phenomenal. It was very well done, both athletically and also at the right time, and safer than most of the things these guys do, but still got the same kind of fucking pop. But these guys just know what the fuck they're doing. Because I wrote here, they weren't just doing this stuff, they were building to it, paying it off, and selling it afterwards, with no obvious cooperation. They went in the good 1-2, even though they started doing forearms. I hate that, but for the 1-2 with body language, they weren't just punching each other and nothing below the neck was registering it. The wobbly legs and the fucking stagger. And then the people came apart when Cody finally took that belt off and whipped MJF. And then pleaded with Paul Turner, one more, and Turner turns his back. If you're going to fucking do something with the referee that's shady in terms of realism or not, that's the kind of thing to do. Because Cody, after all he's been through, and he did get whipped on national TV, and he's sympathetic, and he asks the referee just one more time, and the referee turns his back there, boom, whack, boom, and okay. That's the kind of thing you can play with in a top match with top guys who do it right. And also, did you hear the whacks? Because how wide that belt is.
Yeah. See
what I mean? Anyway, MJF crawling to Cody and begging, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. This is classic. He's got the shit kicked out of him. He's bleeding. He's crawling and fucking begging, and then when he thinks he's got the fucking Cody distracted or whatever, he spits in his face and goes to get the ring, and the camera missed the ring fucking pull out. Did you see that? Or not see that, as the case may be.
Yeah, and in general, I don't know if this is the place to say it, but there's too many shots of fans in the crowd at the wrong time.
Yeah.
When there's stuff happening in the ring, they show some fan just randomly. And
making an oh shit face. Oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Yeah. Well, I'd like to see more of what's happening. Afterwards, after the reaction, after a big finish or whatever. Yes, but in the middle of the match, you're playing with fucking fire. Anyway, he turned around and got the ring. We saw it on the replay, but we didn't see it live. But obviously, when he hit the punch, I knew what he was going for. Or when he swung the punch, rather, he swings, Cody ducks it, hits a crossroads, won't pin him, grabs him, hits another one, won't pin him. I could have sworn, I would have put money that Cody was going to win this match, and then MJF was going to get heat after. But son of a bitch, Cody went the other way, and honestly, that's what Dusty would have done. He would have won and then got heat after on him. But Cody went the other way, and this worked, and it did more for MJF, and it's prolonging this thing. But the way that he ducked the one shot with the ring, hit the two finishes, could have beat him, but he didn't because he wanted to hurt him more, and then MJF gets the fucking lucky shot and falls pretty much unconscious on top of Cody, 1, 2, 3. That was fucking great. And the people in the building got it. And then the people at home got it when we saw the replay. And of course, the announcers, oh, he's got the ring, because the announcers didn't see it because the announcers are watching their monitor. So they didn't call it at first. But otherwise than that, which was neither of these guys' fault, that was my favorite match of the night. That was fucking it. And once again, when wrestling matches break out on this show, it stands out so much that I like them even more. But that was fucking perfect to me.
I thought Cody sold the ring shot fantastically. He just went right down. It was perfect. And
that's the way you get it over. Imagine if the other guys are getting run over by fucking Volkswagens and being battered by jackhammers, and this guy gets punched by a guy with a ring on and fucking goes down and gets sympathy for it. It's not that hard to figure out, but nobody will look at it.
You know, when you hear people say that wrestling's evolved and it's changed and everyone has to change with the times, I see people like MJF, the Revival, and the WWE, great example, guys who do things the way I miss guys doing it. The guys who do things the way I think you can do it and get over it nowadays, and they do, it gives me some hope. MJF is so good, considering his age. He's just so good. And I'll tell you one thing, that Cody neck tattoo, if they ever wanted to find a way to make Brandy a sympathetic babyface, knowing she has to go home and look at that, that definitely made me feel bad.
Hey, maybe he can come back with MJF and a loser loses their tattoo, or MJF's hair versus Cody's tattoo, and they can have it dermabrased or whatever.
You know, I remember years ago getting upset when all of a sudden Triple H showed up on Raw bald, or, you know, at least with a crew cut.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why not do a hair match? You've had your long hair for years. It would mean so much if someone got in there, held you down, and cut your hair, building up to something. Same thing with this. I saw that tattoo. I'm like, man, if you're going to get an ugly-ass, horribly placed tattoo like that, make it a gimmick. If I beat you, you have to get a tattoo on your neck.
And by the way, you'll notice that they thought that up there hair matches is just too wrestling until Vince and fucking President Pig Shit had one and drew the biggest buy rate in history of buy rates. Anyway,